Before the season starts, I do a lot of skateboarding, but I do work out a lot, I guess you could say. Maybe not a lot. Like, I would consider skateboarding a workout, but like in recent years, I like found myself like needing more muscle in order to do so, considering the amount of falling that I do, for sure.
Okay.
So but like, yeah, I would say like in like eating better, like I try, like I'm really not that good at eating better, but I try, like, I just try to like I just try to spend as much time like in the mindset as possible. Like I guess I just like skate every day. Like that's mostly it, I would say.
Yeah.
And also like a big thing is like knowing when to stop. I think that's huge. Cause I like a couple of my first years, like I would just like go. And like I still do that, but like now I pay a lot more attention to like when I'm tired and like when I need to rest, because like if you take that time, then you're able to perform so much better when you're trying something.
Yeah, definitely. Kennedi, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, basically the same thing. I mean, skating is huge for sure. If there's one thing that correlates the most, it's definitely skating. But I actually, this year I was like super nervous going into the year, and so I actually got like a personal trainer through like a friend. Did you? And so I did, yeah. So I worked out, like I was going to the gym like 4 times a week, and it definitely helped like a lot with like not only just feeling a bit more like physically prepared going into the season, but like I just felt like a little bit more mentally there, like being like just being strong, you know. So I could see myself keep going to the gym for the next season and stuff like that, but just skating and I don't know, yeah, being fit.
Yeah.
I think personally that's really cool, because I think like the side of snowboarding, there's this overwhelming like vision of these guys are just partying all the time and not like really caring about their bodies, and they look at, you know, working out and stuff as kind of jockey and like against what the culture is about. But I think that's really cool that, yeah, in the reality of it, it's like, yeah, you guys are really taking care of yourselves, you know, treating your bodies like temples, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
It's interesting you say that. Go ahead, Kennedi, go ahead.
I feel like we're like shaking off that kind of like jockey vibe of stuff now. Like a lot of the guys that I'm around, they're, you know, super health conscious and what they eat, and like everyone just wants to snowboard, you know. So it's like when it comes down to it, like not drinking or eating well or going to the gym, like everyone's willing to do that stuff so they can keep boarding, because that's where the fun is, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting you guys bring that up, because I was just watching just the surf movies, like A Kiss from God or A Kiss from Heaven or something, and it was basically just showing that, along with, I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Miserable Champion. It's a great movie, you should watch it if you haven't. It's about Sean Palmer. Have you guys seen that? Has anybody seen that?
I've seen it, yeah.
Dude, it's so good. You guys should watch it. But anyways, like it goes through like that era of like when like snowboarding was like hot and big and like partying and like drugs and alcohol and everything, to where it is now. And it's like, I don't know, it's so different now. Like it's not like that, because like because of the level that it is now, I think, I mean, it's always been good and like proficient and everything like that, but because of the level, like the constant like push and the constant progression, like you can't, I can't afford to do that. Like I literally like have to like go to the gym. And like one saying that like I know is like true to be true is like, use it or lose it. Like if you don't use your body the way that you want to use it, or like if you don't like practice, like you will lose it. Straight up.
Yeah.
Sick. That's
yeah,
some really cool insight.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Just FYI, old man Steve's over here.
Yeah. Use it or lose it, baby. I know. I mean, that goes with anything. Cooking. Yeah. Use it or lose it. I don't know.
Cool. Awesome. Maybe I'll pass it off to Elijah real quick. Maybe you can continue this. See where you have any questions for Jill.
We had Hazel join up with us, and then we also had I think I'm saying it right, Alina and Alyssa joined in. So welcome you guys.
Hi everybody. I can't really see everybody, but if you're there, hi.
And so, I mean, I'd really like to just pass on to the girls, because my most important thing is, you know, kind of instilling some insights into them. But I guess for me, just like you guys were talking about, you know, what are some of the reasons of why you guys snowboard? You know, like I know the love of it, but then kind of, you know, how maybe you got into it, and what's keeping you driving, you know, to keep that passion. passion of life? Is it, surrounding yourself with good friends, good inspirations, because I'm a firm believer that, you are the people you hang out with the most. So how are you guys kind of keeping yourselves elevated with that love and passion?
You want it, Kennedy?
Sure.
And it could be as simple as just one of
yeah.
those. It doesn't even matter. Easy.
Totally. Yeah, kind of a lot to cover there, but I don't know. I feel like I've been able to narrow down a little bit of what inspires me the most in snowboarding lately, and it would definitely be, I love going to the hill and messing around with my friends and just like taking some laps and cruising and stuff. But at the end of the day, like all I really want to do is film, I like driving around in the car looking for spots. I like shoveling. I like messing around. I like watching people try tricks. I like battling. Like I like getting kicked out, like the whole aspect of filming for me is where I have come to realize I derive most of my enjoyment from all those aspects.
Yeah.
But definitely when I was younger, just like being able to have a thing to go do every day that was like so fun, and I got to see new friends and make new friends, was just like going to the hill and having fun. That's kind of where it was. But now that I've like, gotten more into making it like a career, I guess, I found that just like filming is the funnest part for me.
Yeah. I agree. I would have to say very similar to that. Like, I don't know, when I first moved to Utah, like got into snowboarding or whatever, I was like just snowboarding because that's what people did there. And like, I was like, oh, I like it. And I was like, going to go to school. But then I like kind of started realizing or developing, I guess, realizing what I liked in snowboarding and like what I liked to watch people do. And kind of like just like develop a sense of like what I want to see, like what I want to change or what I like. And I think it just kind of grew from there. So I think like kind of relating snowboarding to like an art form or some kind of, I guess at the end of the day it is because I love to do it, but I love to do it because it's like what I am passionate about, making, like executing my creativity through. And it's just interesting. Like I can go to the resort and like do the same thing over and over and over again just because I like the way it feels or like the way it sounds or something like that. And I think that's like the driving force behind it, is like doing things on my snowboard that make me happy. And then like once you get into filming and stuff, like the crew vibes or like the crew, like it just like you like find people you click with, and it's interesting. And it's really interesting because like I spend, Kennedy, you could probably attest to this, but like so much more time driving around and shoveling and watching and helping than I do actually snowboarding. Like you can be out for like 12 hours a day and you might be snowboarding for 2 hours, it could be longer too. Like there's days you snowboard a lot, but I don't know. It's just, that's what I know what to do. It's like my life now, and I love it. I guess, I know you said don't say just because you love it, but that's honestly why I do it. It's because I do love it. It's fun. And like, I like to push myself. Like, it's not really me like comparing it to other people. It's like, it's me setting a standard for myself and like wanting to achieve and like push and push and push and see like how far I can get by doing what I love to do. And that's what's cool. Like if you love something and you work hard at it, you're going to succeed at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Hey, Jill, can I ask a question really quick?
What's up?
There's a lot of other hard work that goes into it besides snowboarding. Do you enjoy that part too? Like the hard work and the shoveling, or like if you have a good crew, maybe you enjoy it, or like do you enjoy it all the time, or is the hard work hard sometimes?
Oh my God. I think that's the one most frustrating. I don't want to go as far as say frustrating, but like I struggle like going to family events and expressing, like telling people what I do, because it just goes straight over their head, like we work so hard. Like I'm not like you like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like the most work. Like I'll be like dripping sweat. Like it is, you're so tired. You can eat like 7 meals when you're done. Like it's the most work that I've ever endured in my entire life. Like it's a lot of work, and it doesn't work out. Like there's a lot of times it doesn't work. Like video parts, the reason that they're not like that long is because it's really, really difficult. And like moving snow. Like people don't even understand like the immense amount of snow that you need to move just to make something work, or like speed, or like, and I think that's one thing, like when you're so green to it, or when you're first learning how to do it, you like see something, you're like, I want to do this, I'm going to do that, I want to do that, like I got this. And then you like do it, you like try to set it up, you're like, wait, I don't even know how to set this up. And then it's like, it's a whole nother ball game. And that's another reason, that's another thing that's so interesting about it, is like you like, it's like learning a new language. Like once you start like filming, it's like you learn how to do it. And you know, it's funny, like Anna Gasser said recently, she was like, oh, like, or this was like 2 years ago, and she like went up to Desiree and was like, she's like, oh yeah, like I wanted to film the best street part, because like she was like, I would watch them, she's like, I love it, but I was like gonna be like, oh, I can do that, like I'm gonna film the best street part. And she like went out and she like tried to build, like just set Sammy, no, she tried to like set up a rail, and she like had to stop because she's like, my hands hurt. And like that's coming from like, I don't know, a gold medalist. I think she won the Olympics. I don't know. She like she's winning stuff, and she's awesome. But it's just like that's just like, I love that story because it's such like a, I guess like you could say humbling, in the sense of like when people finally understand like how much work goes into it, they're really, it kind of takes you back, and like it's a lot, right, Kennedi? Wouldn't you say?
It puts a different perspective on it, you know, for people who
yeah
don't understand. But to answer that question as well, I feel like no, the shoveling and all that stuff isn't always fun. You know, it definitely isn't.
It sucks.
It's work, you know. But when you get that clip, or your friend gets such a sick clip, you're like, it's hard to explain that. It's like landing a new trick, basically.
Yeah.
You know,
more rewarding.
Yeah, it gives you like a purpose. It's almost like a reminder of why you do the things that you do. And like, that's a really big challenge. Like it's filming video parts and filming in general is like a huge mental game. And like, I'm sure competing is too. Like I've never gone down that avenue, but it's like,
definitely.
You know, like you're working with a crew. So like, say you're on a trip with like 6 people, like you're not going to snowboard every day. You might snowboard like every 3 days, and you might get an opportunity to snowboard and things might not work out. Like you might get kicked out, or you might get hurt, or it might be too hard, or things might not just be like lining up. And it's like this huge like mental game. And I think that's another one of my favorite things that I've learned throughout this experience, and like what I've done so far, is that like if you really work and you like take the time to like digest what you're doing, and like you can really like overcome anything, and like work on like patience and like mentality. And I never like read before snowboarding, and now I like am trying to get into reading because like it helps my brain. And like when my brain is healthy, like I snowboard better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's hard. And it's a lot of work, like physically, mentally.
Yeah. And it's the same thing for riding contests though too.
Yeah.
You have to fly across the world or across America. You show up at a hill, it's raining, it's snowing, it's foggy, the conditions suck. You're pressured to be judged against all these people. Like, it's basically the same thing, but completely different, you know?
Yeah.
Exhausted. You don't get to snowboard much. You get half an hour for practice runs, and then you get 3 tries, like, you know?
True.
So it's basically the same ball game, but definitely different, you know?
Mm-hmm. So Kennedi, on that topic, so you used to be coached. You were part of the Riders on Board group in Calgary. You know, so I don't know if you used to do competitions or anything, but I know you did transition from having a coach to, filming these rail parts. And I was wondering if you could kind of talk about your experience being coached, how our students could make the most of it, and why you ended up moving to, the avenue from riding contests to filming parts.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up riding in Riders on Board. They kind of took me under their wing because I lived like 7 hours away from their like hub mountain. So I moved out there in grade 11, and I was doing like a bunch of contests, nationals, all that kind of stuff. And it like wasn't really doing it for me. And a couple of the older guys in the club, had like bought a camera and were filming, and I was like pretty close with them, but I was a year or two younger, so I was like still kind of in the contest stuff. And then they kind of graduated out of the program and kept filming, and then I was lucky enough to get in with them, like the group SRD, like Finn and JJ Westbury and Tom and stuff. And then I kind of I was just basically lucky enough to have a group of people who were interested in filming, and I kind of fizzled out of riding contests. would go to these events and I wouldn't really do that great, or I would do good, but it wouldn't really feel great, like I didn't love it. I didn't love getting judged by people who don't even know how to snowboard and like stuff like that. I didn't like the whole system, all the politics. Like, I don't know if USASA is as political as some of the Canada snowboard stuff is, but it was just so hectic. And I was just fortunate enough to have a group of guys who were into filming and, took me to a couple spots. And some of the time I just would shovel for them and help them. And then, they were like, oh, you should hit this or whatever, So I feel it feels hard for me to explain like, oh, you should try and do this and do this, when I was just fortunate enough to kind of mooch off of these guys, kind of. And then I eventually got in the crew and it was better. But I think like a big thing, if people are trying to make the transition from riding contests to filming, is just having like a group of people who are, have a camera, want to go out and are just want to make a video or whatever, whether that's like a group of girls or a group of guys or both or whatever.
Working together is super important too. Like you never like, it's so important in crews and like when you're filming to like help the other person, because like you're gonna need that help. Like like having a solid crew and people that you care about and you respect and like you want to see succeed is so important, because without that, like you will fail. Like you need to be in an environment where you're like happy and comfortable and like, and it's there. Like when you don't think it's there, like it is there, you just need to find it.
Yeah.
And that's what's so cool about snowboarding, is like there's so many different avenues and so many people come from all over the world, and it's just like one thing that brings everybody together, that there's just I just think there's opportunity for everybody. It's just up to you to like find your niche, and whatever you like to do it. Don't change what you want to do because you think that's what's going to make or break you. Like if you like something, do it, and people are going to see that you like it and admire it for that. So
yeah,
I think teamwork is huge.
Yeah. And even just like, having a close, tight-knit friend group when you're taking laps and you each take turns filming lines on the hill with your phone or whatever, it's like, it's stuff like that I feel like helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. That's super insightful. I think it's really great for our girls to hear that. So thank you. So I want to start moving on to the girls and have them ask you guys some questions. So I'm going to put Miss Kennedy Lambert on the spot. Kennedy, what would you like to ask them or talk to them about?
Okay. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
So basically, like as a snowboarder, I kind of struggle with like working up courage to hit things and stuff, and like I'm pretty scared, which is kind of hard to like be a snowboarder and have like a lot of fear, I guess. So I was wondering like how you get over like, if you're like scared to hit a rail, like what drives you to, do it? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, can I ask what and answer this however you want, but what are you scared of?
Yeah, I don't know, just
because fear is a real thing. Like everybody has fear. Like I'm scared every time I hit something. Like I'm scared, but you just have to find the confidence. But I think the more important thing is like, what are you scared of? Like,
I don't know. Like, I can't really name it like right off the. I don't know, because I haven't been snowboarding in a while.
Yeah.
But
I guess what I'm wondering, because like this happens to me too. Like I guess group effect or like social settings. Like, are you scared of
like
physically
really
getting hurt? Are you scared of like embarrassment? Are you scared of not succeeding? Because like those are all real things.
I feel like it really depends, because like I think a lot of the time like I get scared to try things because there's like, people there that are like really good. So there's like that. Like at Futures, I went to like a competition and I just didn't hit anything because I was, like, because I wasn't as good as them. So it was like, kind of a setback, I guess. But then of course, like I get scared, like hitting rails and stuff. And it's not even like, it doesn't even matter who's there. I'm just scared to hit the rail. I don't know. It really depends. I'm just like wondering what, like when in the moment, like when you're trying to hit that, like what do you think about? Like what like pushes you to like get, do it? I don't know.
I would say, yeah. I mean, first of all, I want to let you know that I experience all of that. That's normal. That's completely normal. And I tell myself, I like physically and like out loud, I'll tell myself actually okay, I'll tell you like two different stories. Well, first of all, like never be embarrassed of snowboarding in front of other people because at one point that person couldn't snowboard. Like they've all gone through it, and like that's a huge mental thing. Like if you're capable of like turning that off in your head and you're like, look, like I'm here to get better, like I want to learn and like not be embarrassed to do it. Like people whether you realize this or people want to admit it or not, like people admire drive, and like if they can see somebody like out there like trying, you know, like that's like one of the most admirable things. Like you're not going to get better by not doing it, you know? And like also the more like you're like by not doing it, you're like convincing yourself out of it, you know? And like I'll stand, and then when it comes down to like actually being physically scared of doing something because of an injury or like something, like I'll literally stand on a drop in for like, and just like yell or just like out loud be like, I got this, like I'm the best, like I got this, like whether like not saying that I'm best, but, like I just need to tell myself that, because that goes to like the mental game where it's like I got this, like I know what I'm doing, like I've done this 100 times, like, you know, or like I find little things to relate it to like here or there. And I think like a huge thing is like not allowing like the social pressures from like other people to get in the way, and like also don't be afraid to ask for help. Like that's another huge thing. It's like swallow your pride. Like there's so many times where it's like I haven't gone on trips with certain people because I'm like, oh, I don't want to snowboard in front of them, they're so good. And like now I'm like, that was an opportunity missed because I didn't go on that trip. Like because I didn't take the opportunity to like learn that, or like I didn't take the opportunity to try it. Like I'm sure you've experienced like, I really want to do this, and then you don't, and then you get home and you're like, oh, I should have done that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like you can avoid that by just try it. And like the worst that's gonna happen, you're gonna fall, like whatever. The only the people that you're worried about seeing you like fail, if you were to fail, like they're not going to bed thinking about that. Like they don't care. Like that's like, you know, they don't even see it. And us as humans like beat ourselves up about it, like you know, like overanalyze ourselves, and like that's just something like mentally like to be confident in yourself is so big.
Yeah,
For sure.
But it is scary. It's hard. It definitely is hard.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I struggled with that too, being scared of stuff. Like I did maybe one of the scariest things I've ever done on a snowboard this year. And as soon as, you know, and it took me like 30 minutes to like talk myself into it. And, you know, I'm a big fan of like breaking stuff down in my head. Like if I'm looking at this down rail and I think, okay, like I think I could front board it. Like I front boarded that box first, and then I front boarded that little rail. Like, you know, I've done all the steps. Like I'm definitely capable of doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try, you know. I think that's a big thing for me. But it also, yeah, it's tough. Like,
yeah, confidence
it is
key.
just, it's just tough. Yeah, confidence really is key, and just knowing, you know, actually having a good grasp of your limits, you know.
Yeah.
And like of what you're capable, truly knowing what you're capable of, I think is the biggest advantage you can have, because then you can just be like, I know that I can do this. And then you do it. Because like I was at a spot and I was so scared. It took me like 30 minutes to convince myself to do it. And then after the first try, I did it like 6 times in a row, no problem. And I was like, how was I so scared? Like,
yeah,
it's, you know, it's easy. Sometimes it's just a mind game, and it's just a matter of taking yourself out of it and just thinking about it broken down and just being like, I can do this, you know?
Yeah. Another thing is like, do your mind work? Don't ever look at like it's super hard. And like, I'm not going to lie. Like I'll like go to a spot and I'm like, I'm going to die. Today I die. but straight up, you can't think about it like that. Like that might cross my mind, but then like immediately, like I'm like, I have the opportunity to set this up safe and make it secure enough so that I survive and that I complete what I'm trying to do, you know. Like we have the power, and our mind has the power. Like if we just like are confident and you're like, no, like I know what I'm doing, like always remember that, like you know what you're doing, like you're in full control of your body, and like find that in tuneness, because like it is possible. You see it possible like other people making things possible. Like the limits are like yet to be pushed. Like it is, you just like you just need to have confidence and like practice and like, as cheesy as it sounds, like believe in yourself, because like you can do it.
Totally.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys both so much. That was super insightful, very impactful for our students, and appreciate everything you guys do for snowboarding. You guys are true role models and really push the limits. So thank you for everything you guys do.
Well, thank you. That's
Thank you.
yeah, no worries. You guys have fun. Enjoy the rest of your stay-at-home time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be safe.
Safe,
We'll
guys.
see you guys soon when the world,
Thank you.
on the other side.
The healthy side.
Yeah.
Yeah.